Ones that was talking that trash are the same ones circling wagons. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. What? You got me feeling like I'm Josh. Okay. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. Josh. Yeah. Got me feeling like I'm who? Josh. Yeah. Josh. Ones that was talking that trash are the same ones circling wagons. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. What? You got me feeling like I'm Josh. Okay. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. Josh. Yeah. Got me feeling like I'm who? Josh. Yeah. Josh. Ones that was talking that trash are the same ones.
The Buffalo Bills barely beat the Browns today in Cleveland, 23-20, to go 11-4 in the season and keep their hopes alive for that divisional crown and the number one seed in the AFC East. We are going to discuss all of that and a lot more on this episode of Circling the Wagons. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Bills defensive end Greg Rousseau, and you're listening to Nate and the Fellas on Circling the Wagons podcast. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Go Bills.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Hey, let's go Buffalo. Hey, let's go Buffalo.
The Bills make me wanna shout.
What is up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another episode of Circling the Wagons, a Buffalo fan base podcast. I'm your host, Nate. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We have a victory to discuss with the Bills taking down the Browns in Cleveland today, 23-20, just barely eking it out, but lots of things to discuss on this day. We're going to talk about everything we normally talk about, stats of the game, Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game, Wall of Fame and Wall of Shame, and a lot more in this episode. But I'm joined by my co-host, John, to talk about this victory. John, this was a close one. This was a close one, but how do you feel as a Bills fan after the Bills made their way out of here with a win?
Feeling great, and I just want to say I love the intro from Gregory Rousseau to 2.5 sacks today and 7 pressures. Fantastic. It's probably my Wall of Fame right there.
Oh wow, we're going right into the Wall of Fame, huh?
I'm just like right into it. I love it. But no, great win. I was never worried. I know, everybody's worried, but I was never worried on this one.
So I'll say this: I wasn't worried about this win. At least too worried. There were times where I wasn't thrilled about what was going on, but they just made a ton of mistakes today. I think that they were. There were some drops by some key players. I mean, Kincaid had that play where he didn't get both feet in, even though I think he did get the toe in. It was just like a weird thing where he wasn't touching with the front of his toe. It was kind of like dragging the back.
I think that was just a BS call. That was a catch.
Do you think that with that one specifically, I think it had to do with the fact that that it wasn't called a catch to begin with, and they didn't have enough evidence to overturn it. I don't think it was that. It wasn't like if it was called a catch.
I don't know that second foot, like Green picked up from the turf, right? Like you saw it like before it hit the white. So no, I think it was complete BS. I think it was a catch.
Yeah, same here. I thought that was, of course, that's what happens though. Like like I also thought that Shedeur Sanders intentional grounding should have been a safety, but it wasn't, right? Like, I love when they bring Gene Steratore in, and he never agrees with what happens against the Bills. He's like, that should have been, I would have called that a catcher. That should have been a safety, or just like, yeah, I know, right? Thanks, Gene. Where the hell were you on that one? But so John, there was a few things that I wasn't a fan of today. I think that they got away with a win. I think the Browns team is better than their 3-11 record was heading into that game. I think they're a better team than that. Obviously, whenever you have Myles Garrett, you're going to be a better team. But the Bills had issues tackling again on defense. The Bills did get some takeaways, luckily, and they did find some pressure late in the game. You mentioned Gregory Rousseau. But offensively, like it seemed like unless James Cook was leading the team and leading the drive, there was no guarantee that the Bills were going to move the ball, right? Like they weren't getting a lot done through the air. I mean, Josh Allen had 131 yards passing. He wasn't really running the ball well. This wasn't a great game for Josh Allen, but he didn't get a lot of help from his receivers because I mentioned the Dalton Kincaid non-catch, the Dawson Knox drop in the end zone on 4th and 1. There was a drop by Brandon Cooks by this amazing over-the-shoulder pass by Josh Allen. It wasn't just Allen's fault, but I don't think the offense looked good at all besides James Cook. Did you?
There's a lot of things. And Cook was just in the first half. Well, the second half, they went away from him for whatever reason. I don't understand why. He had 100 yards in the first half and 12 or something in the second half. Ridiculous. So that was bad. And yeah, Knox and the Kincaid, Knox had the stone hands thing in his early career, so it's reminiscent of that. But he has been better as of late. But you're relying on these other options where they should have legit receivers, and they don't. They can't separate. It's just bad for the receivers, and I like Shakir, but they can key in on him now.
You want to talk about Wall of Shame? You were talking about Wall of Fame earlier. I'll go to Wall of Shame. I mean, Keon Coleman. Jeez, dude. What is going on? I mean, is he even going to have a career after this season? Because, I was listening to the pregame show, and somebody was like, well, why would you make Keon Coleman active? I mean, what does he bring that's better than any other wide receiver on your roster? And that's a good point. Is he a better pass catcher? No, I don't think so. I think there's better pass catchers than him. Is he a better, contested catch receiver? I don't think so. I don't think he's proven himself to be really good at that. He's not a better separator. And when you have guys like Mecole Hardman, they can actually return punts. That gives him, even less reason to make him active. He just doesn't do anything that's much better than what the guys are on your roster. I mean, I don't know. It will be interesting to see what they do next week, but yeah. John Robertson, he mentioned Ray Davis looked decent. He did as well, along with Jackson Hawes looked good. Excuse me, John. Jackson Hawes today even kind of felt like he was the best tight end receiving the ball today. I know he only had a couple of catches, but he was a reliable target. He had that catch from Josh Allen, the flip, the shovel pass on that one. Let's go into stats of the game for the victory. First stat of the game, we have Josh Allen. I mentioned his stat line a little bit earlier. 12 for 19, 130 yards, 0 touchdowns, but also 0 interceptions. I did see that if you were relying on him for fantasy today, he had the worst game fantasy-wise since 2019. So not ideal. Only 6.9 points. I don't care about it for fantasy, but it's kind of puts it in perspective. James Cook had 16 carries for 117 yards, 7.3 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. John, you mentioned how he was crushing in the first half, and then they didn't really give him a whole lot of rushes after that, which is a great point because at one time he was getting it was like into the second quarter, or maybe even to the third quarter, he was getting 14 yards per carry. Like it was just, I mean, he was playing amazing. Yeah, I would like to see him get a few more carries. Josh Allen, 7 carries for 17 yards. Ty Johnson had 3 carries for 16 yards, had that touchdown on the day. Leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills, Khalil Shakir, 4 receptions on 5 targets for 34 yards. Not great for your leading receiver. Jackson Hawes, we just mentioned that. 2 receptions, 2 targets, 26 yards. That was of note. Jordan Poyer had an interception on defense today. Daquan Jones had an interception on defense today. As far as sacks go, Poyer had a half sack. Greg Rousseau had 2.5 sacks. And yeah, there were some batted balls in there too. I think one was by Bosa to get the Daquan Jones interception.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember who popped up the Poyer or maybe it was the receiver. I think it went off the receiver's shoulder.
Yeah, it was thrown off his back shoulder. It was a little bit off target. Probably still should have caught it, but it was either way, bounced out the receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, let's go into Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game, John. And by the way, if you guys have your Sweet Sassy Molassy play of the game, feel free to cue it up in the comments.
Sweet Sassy Molassy, get out the checkbook and pay Grandma for the rubdown.
Now there were some great plays in there, John. Can I'm going to give mine first. Normally I let you go first. Maybe you have a better one, but Greg Rousseau, the sack on 4th down deep in Cleveland territory, that was my Sweet Sassy Molassy play of the game. There were a lot of other good plays, like the Poyer interception and stuff like that, but I mean, that was such a clutch play. I mean, it basically, gave them the game, minus a first down by Josh Allen in the offense. But what was yours? Was it that one or a different one?
No, that's probably the way to go. I would just go the Daquan Jones interceptions just because for a defensive tackle to get a pick like that, I mean, that's like a once in a lifetime thing for a guy, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. He's 30. What is he? 34 years old, 33 years old. He has never had a pick in NFL, in college, or in high school. This is his first pick ever. Isn't that crazy? You mentioned how rare it is. It's very rare for him too, especially. He might have like 1 year left in the league, so that's awesome. Especially for guys that are used to getting the ball that often. Very easy to just drop it. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this thing. Yeah, I'll give it that one. I give the Poyer interception I mentioned earlier. There were some bad plays I had written down, like non-Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game. The ones I just had is like there's an 18-yard screen pass by Shedeur Sanders in the first quarter. It was 3rd and 12, and he just barely let one go, and then it got 18 yards, and they're like, ah. But then Poyer got the interception right after, so it kind of undid that. These are actually some of these plays are going to go into Wall of Fame and Wall of Shame. So why don't we head into that? Let's go into Wall of Fame. Oh, I can't play it. Ugh. That's weird. Should talk to the Buffalo fan base about that. So I can't play this, but Wall of Fame. John, who do you have on your Wall of Fame, this one?
I think. Well, it's kind of torn. I was gonna put James Cook on it, but
had a great game.
They didn't go to him in the second half as much, which isn't its fault, really necessarily. But I think I'm gonna give it to Greg Rousseau with the 2.5 sacks and some pressures.
Rousseau's a really good one, John. I had him. I had Cook at the top. Here's an honorable mention, John. I don't know how you feel about this one, but Jordan Poyer.
Poyer had a good game. Yeah.
He was one of the reliable tacklers back there, and he saved a couple of, I want to say at least one touchdown with a tackle, in the secondary for guys bursting through the first, the defensive line, the linebackers, and all of a sudden you just have Poyer back there, and he was reliable when it mattered. So I had that. I Cook, Rousseau, Poyer. What about Wall of Shame in this one?
I think just tackling, which has been a thing throughout the season.
That's a good one, John. That was the number one on mine too. Was just tackling. It feels like anytime a guy gets to like the second level, there's a guy arm tackling him that just gets pushed aside.
Yeah. Or even if they do get in the backfield, or like, oh, let's give me a tackle for a lot. No, yeah,
it's rough, man. This has been an ongoing issue all season, which is disappointing. And part of me thinks, I wonder if it's the fact that these guys are not disciplined enough, or maybe they're just out of position and they can't get to a position where they can make the tackle. So it's just like an arm tackle, Sometimes that feels like it at times when they're not knifing through into the backfield. Sometimes I feel like it's that.
It definitely feels like a combination of things, and it worries me for the playoffs because the old adage, defense wins championships. That's kind of true. You need to have a good defense to make it far and win a Super Bowl. There are outliers, but it's worrisome.
John, now the Browns do have a good defense. They're not a bad team, like defensively, especially. Like they're one of the top teams defensively. When you say what you just said about defense wins championships, I mean,
I'm thinking about like Houston and Denver. I'm not thinking about Cleveland. All due respect, they only have 3 wins this year, so
yeah, they're not a good team, obviously, but I'm trying to think. Like I don't trust the Bills' defense to win a game.
Cleveland's offense has not been good this year.
No, and I think that's part of it too. When you're evaluating the Browns' defense, is the fact that they don't have anyone to, when they get the ball back for the offense doesn't do anything with it. But I mean, you talked about like the Houston Texans defense, the Broncos defense. The Bills' defense isn't maybe even half of what those defenses are, right? Like, so I guess I'm not, unless there's a few takeaways like today's game, I don't know if I trust the defense to win them a game. But at the same time, I say this, then, Greg Rousseau steps up out of nowhere, right?
They kind of helped them. They didn't score 30 points this game, so the defense did help. They held them to 20. I mean, Cleveland's offense isn't good, but they still did it.
So I don't want to bash the defense, but then again, you're also playing against Shedeur Sanders, right? Like, I mean, this isn't, Drew Brees or Peyton Manning. This is, a rookie, 4th round rookie. Like, you should beat him. You should look better, especially with McDermott as your head coach and him being defensive minded and Bobby Babich. I think that's one of my biggest. So it's sad because what are the things going into the playoffs, going into the stretch that you feel really confident about, right? Like ending the season, at least as of right now, because it feels like every week, the Patriots game last week, the Bengals game the week before, you're like, well, the offense can turn it on when they need to, right? Like that's a strength, but sometimes it feels like you can't necessarily count on that depending on which team they're playing against. Like today, I wouldn't say you could definitely count on the offense to bail you out. I think the defense kind of did that. So, when you go into the postseason, because I look at it and I'm like, the run game is the only thing I feel really confident in. I don't feel confident in the defense, and I'm not as confident in the passing game as I am in the running game. Does that make sense? Is that where you stand on that?
How about this? Let's break it down to make it super simplistic.
Break it down.
What are the Bills, being a little bit more granular, what are their 3 biggest strengths and what are their 3 biggest weaknesses as a whole? The whole team.
The whole team. Did you want to start, or are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Okay. All right. Great.
And then I'll critique you.
I'll let you know if you're
I
right.
will critique your answers if you're correct or not.
Okay. So first strength I'm going to go with is the Bills' run game, run blocking, and James Cook. I think that they're both tremendous. That is in my opinion, that's by far the best attribute of this entire team.
Wow, I disagree. All right, keep going.
Okay. Oh, you think it's okay? It's something different. Okay. All right. The second thing I think is the best part is their blocking. I mentioned run blocking, but also pass blocking for Josh Allen. So I think their offensive line is their second strength. And that depends on that, and that determines how well Josh or James Cook will play. So maybe it's a combination of Josh and the offensive line blocking and passing. So that sounds like a kind of so James Cook in the run game, and then the offensive line and Josh Allen passing the ball. It's like number 2. Although I don't have a ton of confidence with Josh passing all the time, but I do at times. So then third, I would say the third strength of this team is the ability to I was gonna say get takeaways, but like bend but don't break. So I think that their secondary is better than it has been. So I think the secondary is their strength, especially the way that we mentioned Jordan Poyer today. I think Cole Bishop had a really good game. I think he's been clutch in moments. I have more faith in Benford, Tre'Davious White, Maxwell Hairston, Cole Bishop, and Jordan Poyer than I do necessarily in the Bills linebacking core or the Bills defensive line at times. So yeah, those are my 3 strengths. It's kind of weird across the board and very broad, but yeah. What do you think about those strengths before we get into weaknesses? I know you disagree. What do you think is the biggest strength?
I mean, it's not that far off. I mean, I might be a little bit more simplistic. So my number 1 strength for the offense is Josh Allen. That's number 1. He's the MVP for a reason. Number 2 is James Cook, which you mentioned. I love how James Cook just like every play it looks like he runs right into the middle of the line, but like stops and is like waits to see which hole opens up and then just goes like every time.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Dude,
awesome.
he is so much fun to watch, isn't he? Like he's
Right.
just, I don't remember.
So I'm going Allen, Cook number 2, number 3 is their offensive line to do those things for both Allen and Cook. I know there's been hiccups along the way. I mean, Houston and stuff, but like Dawkins was hurt and Brown was hurt, so you can kind of make an excuse for that. But I would say Allen, then Cook, then the offensive line. Those are the top 3 things for going for the Bills for me.
So
and
nothing on defense.
Nothing on defense.
So if you say 3 weaknesses, they're going to go right to defense, right?
Probably.
Well, you could say Bills wide receiver, right?
No. Yes. 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 The number one weakness might still be on the offense.
So what we need to hope for in the playoffs is to get a team that can't defend the run really well. And if they can defend the pass, then they aren't good at defending the pass against tight ends or running backs, right?
Right.
Or slot receivers.
And we need to be able to stop teams that don't have a good running back or star players. But it's going to be the playoffs, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't want teams with good running backs. So if you're thinking about I'm trying to think of who has the best running back in this group of teams. Trevion Henderson, maybe, again.
I mean, Houston's kind of weak offensively.
Yeah.
They have good defense. I know they beat us, but maybe it's not that bad.
The Jaguars running back situation. I don't even know who their starter is at this point.
Travis Etienne's.
Is he still Etienne?
Pretty good.
The Steelers, we beat them. I'm not worried about them.
Not worried about the Steelers.
Chargers.
I don't know if Hampton's going to be. Is he healthy? I don't know.
Yes, he had a significant workload today.
Did he do good.
16 for 85 and a touchdown.
Okay, so yeah, so he's good.
Yeah, but he's not.
They have other injuries
He's
too.
not
They have
Trevion Henderson, though, right?
Their offensive line has issues, so
Mhm.
we'll see. Who else?
Texans don't. That's it. I mean, Trevion Henderson is the best running back in that group. Feels like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Super Bowl.
Yeah,
we got
so it's okay if we just can't play a juggernaut team that has like an amazing run game, and a team that can give up a lot of yards to their to the other team's running back or running backs through the air.
And hopefully the Rams or Seahawks don't play us in the Super Bowl, and we'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Eagles. I don't want to play the Eagles.
Saquon Barkley. I don't want to play Saquon Barkley. Eat this team.
Yeah, maybe some random NFC team will make it, and we'll just be like, all right, we got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, though. It's kind of relying on, hopefully, Ed Oliver comes back. Hopefully Matthew Judon, the Bills' new free agent, practice squad addition, is able to make some plays on, because they do need pass rush. The lack of pass rush is still an issue, even though Greg Rousseau really got after it at the end. There were plenty of times where Shedeur Sanders has just sat back there
all day. Yeah, there were times for sure. Yeah,
they had to manufacture blitzes, which is usually what it seems like. Think about Matt Milano last week; he had 2 sacks. Do you not necessarily want your outside linebacker leading you in sacks every week? Or it's not ideal. I know it's not every week, but like,
hey, did you hear anything about Chuck Thompson? I know he got hurt.
Yeah, it was a leg injury. I haven't heard anything about how the severity of it, but that was a big injury for the Bills.
Because for a defense that's struggling against run, he is one of their better run defenders.
Oh, I know. Neck injury, which is not ideal.
That's right. Oh, yeah, it was the neck. Yeah, I just don't know how severe it was, or.
Yeah, especially the problem is Terrell Bernard is playing injured, and even if he's not playing injured, he's not having a great season. He was seen on the sidelines working. I'm reading this from bangedupbills.com, by the way. Seen on the sidelines working out his neck and testing his range of motion before he got his helmet to prepare to go back in. He didn't go back in, though. Generalized neck sprain. This may be a generalized neck sprain where there was some compression when he hit or hyperextension of the neck briefly, which could have caused a stinger. This could explain why he was holding his hand, but had the likely painful range of motion. Despite Terrell Bernard not playing well, smart choice was to limit Thompson's snaps to keep him healthy for the playoffs. Yeah, agreed. I didn't think he was going to be as big of a playmaker for the Bills as he has been, like you said, during the run game especially. Of course, he was healthy last week, and Trevion Henderson had like over 150 yards or something, right? So, I mean, he's not perfect.
No, but at the same time, you don't want. He seemed to be better than some of the other players they've had. That's a lot. So
it's almost like they're missing that big run-stuffing defensive tackle we've been talking about for the last 3 years in the draft.
It's weird. Like, you keep hearing rumors, oh, he'll be back for the playoffs, but is that going to be true?
Who, Ed Oliver?
Yeah.
So he literally just McDermott was asked about this. He said he won't be back for the regular season, but yeah, I mean, you're crossing your fingers that he can be back and healthy for the playoffs, right? I mean,
that would be the biggest thing ever. That biggest boost for that defense. I know they have other problems, but that would be really big.
I mean, we were hoping TJ Sanders could be like another Ed Oliver on this team, but he just hasn't been that yet. He's just not at that level. And then Ed Oliver is, or honestly, the rest of the defensive tackles. I hate saying this, but I was hoping for more from TJ Sanders this season. Now, of course, he's coming back from an injury. He was on IR, so everyone's banged up on the Bills. So it's tough to say, but so we were talking about Wall of Shame, John, and I also had Josh Allen on my Wall of Shame. I didn't think he had a great game. Not like a terrible game, mind you. I mean, it would have been so much worse if he turned the ball over. But honorable mention for Wall of Shame was I don't think he had some poor decisions. He airmailed that one ball on 3rd and 4 to I think it was Ty Johnson, a ball that normally he throws right to the guy, but he threw it over his head. He had no chance to catch that. And then when they went for it on 4th down at like the Browns 35 or something like that, they went for it on 4th down. And Josh Allen just completely missed the receiver on that throw. It was kind of odd. So, and then there were some bad sacks that he took today, like 20-yard sacks where he just kept backing up and backing up.
Yeah, I think that the sack was almost a safety. I think that was just he lost his footing, which I mean, obviously still on him, but like I get that one. But I agree with he had a couple off-target throws, and they were in a row. It was like a 3rd and a 4th down situation. Both the throws are a little bit off target.
I'm also putting the Bills receivers dropping passes being dropped on the Wall of Shame. There's a couple of them. Man, I'm hoping was Brandon Cook would be the answer, right? Brandon Cook's being the answer to help the Bills on offense.
2 weeks in a row. Last week against the Patriots, like their first possession, it was a big throw to Cooks and bobbled it and went out of bounds and all that. The same thing. Not good.
What is it with like? It's great that he can get open but man, just catch the ball. Like that seems so simple. And like you said, Knox. This is, by the way, we were talking about Knox and stone hands and showing up like his first or second season. That's not the first time this season we've talked about that Dawson Knox, John. So that's. I'm not saying that he's having a bad season. He was huge and integral for the last couple of weeks, but it was noticeable. When it mattered, like you need him to catch that ball. 4th and 1, the Bills need a touchdown or a first down, and he's open in the end zone. Josh puts it right on the money.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough for you if you want to win games. I mean, if that's the way that the Bills lose in the playoffs, I mean, they're not going to be, I don't know. It is kind of how they lost in the playoffs last year. That's what happened with Dalton Kincaid, right? That was that pass he didn't catch on 4th down. So
that was a ridiculous catch to try to make.
It was tough. Yeah.
I'm not going to put it all on. There's a lot of things that led up to that play throughout the game.
Which catch was tougher, John? That Dalton Kincaid one in the AFC Championship game, or Dawson Knox's today?
The Kincaid one was tougher.
Mm-hmm. It was tougher.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Plus, he was injured. He had that knee injury last year he was playing through. So it was even tougher for him to come back to the ball. But still not impossible. So, this is a weird Wall of Shame, but I wanted to talk about this play. Matt Milano tripping that player on the Browns. It was 3rd and 16 or something. There was no way they were going to make the first down. And Matt Milano wasn't going to be able to wrap him up. And I think he hit him with his arm, but then he also stuck his leg out, right? I mean, I thought it was blatant. He stuck his leg out. It wasn't just like, oh man, like they're catching him on that.
He definitely stuck his leg out, but I don't know if it changed anything either.
You mean like if he hadn't done that?
No, yeah, he didn't. First of all, he didn't. No, he definitely didn't need to do that.
Didn't need to do that. Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think him sticking his leg out made him tackle the player any easier. Also,
yeah, no.
But I can also see why they called it. Like,
they're gonna call it if a guy falls down and they see a leg get thrown out there. Well, the thing is, like,
I don't think the leg is the reason why he got tackled. He was already getting tackled, but then he got I don't know. It was all dumb.
It was dumb. Yeah, I think it could have not been called.
I don't
blame the refs. I don't blame the refs for calling that one. I wasn't like, how could you do this? I'm like, well, he fell down. There's a leg stuck out.
No, it wasn't egregious. I think it was dumb on both Milano and it didn't need to be done.
No, it didn't need to be done by Milano, and it ended up, instead of it being like a 4th and 10, it ended up where they were going to punt it because they were so far away from a field goal. Then they got a first down. They ended up scoring a touchdown. Like those are the plays when you talk about consistency in the playoffs and things that could lose you a playoff game. A play like that could lose you a playoff game. An extra point missed by your kicker,
Our
your
third string kicker at this point in the season.
Just to get an extra point, man. I'm not asking you to kick a 55-yarder, doink.
Yeah, but Milano just don't make those mistakes. That he's Salva. It's not like it's like third string no name linebacker doing that. It's Milano. It's fine. It's gonna be fine in the long term.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, if last week is anything indicative, maybe he's finally healthy and back to where he's playing. But yeah, that was I just was like, man, really? like besides the Dawson Knox drop and all these other plays that we're talking about, the Allen sacks. It's a good thing that the Browns are so. I mean, think about it, John. Like the reason why the Bills won, besides the turnovers, was the fact that the Browns made just as many bad mistakes as the Bills did. Like, think about it. Like, if they played a cleaner game, they beat the Bills. They do. Because remember the end of the half, like there was a penalty right before the end of the half, the end of the first half, where I honestly can't remember what it was. It was a dumb penalty, and it took the Bills. It wasn't the tripping one. It was something else. And it put the Browns right into field goal position as soon as they got the punt. Was it holding on the punt or something? Or it was a face mask. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Jordan Hancock grabbed the face mask of the kick returner, the punt returner. And then all of a sudden it went from like them being at their own 50 to like them being at the Bills 35. And then they're kicking a field goal right there. And if they are actually able to grab the snap and actually kick it, then maybe they win it, right? Or maybe they're tied at least at the end of the game. If Shedeur Sanders doesn't take that intentional grounding play deep in there, there's so many things that they did wrong as well.
Yeah. Shedeur Sanders, like he had some of that prime time in him. Some of those runs up the middle when it was
I miss Prime, man.
He was fun to watch.
He was fun. He's fun. If it's anything like Prime or even a fraction of Prime watching Shedeur Sanders play, I'm in, man. Let's see. All right. That does Sweet Sassy Molassie plays of the game. That does Wall of Fame, Wall of Shame, stats of the game. And now let's look into hot takes from Twitter. John, any hot takes before we let the Twitter folks get in on this?
No, nothing hot, just the usual, I think.
I asked for Sweet Sassy Molassie play of the game or Wall of Fame, Wall of Shame. Mr. JW says Fame is group playing solid today. Shame is a tie between Cooks and Knox and Cooks. Let's see that. Andrew Freeman says, my hot take was that if the Bills let Myles Garrett get the sack record quickly, they play a lot less scared and probably win by more than 3. Ooh, that's a good hot take. Big Mike is in. He says, hot take, a win is a win. May not have been pretty, but it's December, and you got to keep it going heading towards the playoffs. Hashtag stay healthy.
Remember the whole controversy when Strahan broke the single season sack record and everybody's like, oh, Favre took a dive for him and all that kind of thing.
Yep, that was Yeah, who would have thought that Brett Favre might not be the best guy in the world? There's some controversy there. Well, who was the guy that he stole the record from? An older player. I can't remember his name.
From the Jets.
Was it from the Jets? Okay.
Yeah. It was
Wasn't Gastineau.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because I remember, did you ever see the altercation between him and Brett Favre at an autograph signing? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the thing. Do you remember who has the single game record for sacks?
I'm guessing because you're asking this that it's Bruce Smith.
Mm.
Is it? No?
No, it's not.
It's not. Oh, geez. Single game sack record. Lawrence Taylor?
No.
JJ Watt?
No.
Is it a player that's still playing currently?
No.
Okay, so
It was a player that played in the video game Tecmo Super Bowl.
I was going to say Aaron Donald. That's definitely not it. If it's going back to Tecmo Bowl days, it's not Bruce Smith. Ooh, I know. Reggie White.
No.
What?
But he was in Tecmo. But no.
So I said Lawrence Taylor. Man, who were the big sack guys in Tecmo Bowl in the 80s? I thought I listed them. I don't know. Andre Tippett. The Chiefs guy.
Yes.
Derek Thomas.
Yes.
All right.
7 sacks against the Seattle Seahawks in 1990.
Wow. Dude, that is legendary.
Isn't that amazing? 7 sacks in one game for one player.
Dude, I thought you were going to say it was against the Bills, and my heart was just going to be like, oh, really? Oh, really?
No, he was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the era where they had they had the Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Derek Thomas, all these great pass rushers all at the same time.
The Saints had 1 or 2 good ones.
Oh yeah, the Dome Patrol, right?
Yeah.
The Sam Mills and Patrick Swilling and they had four really good linebackers. Who are the other ones? Mills, Swilling.
I'd have to go through my football cards, man. I'm trying to think. I can't get to it now. But here, while you're thinking of it, I'm going to read some more tweets. AJ Tharp says, the wide receiver room has to get figured out before the playoffs come. Outside of Shakir, no one is getting open consistently. Brandon Cooks gets open for 1 to 2 plays per game, but drops the ball every time. Gabe Davis needs to be active. He's our best scramble ball receiver that we have. Dude, I love this take by AJ. At this
point, Gabe Davis definitely. Forget Cooks. Cut Cooks at this point. And Cook this kicker too. I mean, he's had he missed the extra point. He get the ball out of bounds. Even if Prater's not back next week, they need another kicker.
For sure. John, if you had to pick the top 4 to 5 receivers that the Bills need to keep active each week.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Tough, isn't it?
Shavers and Shakir. And then it's Palmer by default. And
Palmer by default. That's 3. Then it's a mix between Coleman, Cooks, Hardman, and Davis. Davis should be the 4th. Okay, so those are
Davis, and then maybe Hardman. I would say
for the punt return.
Yeah.
Then he can be a threat on offense. He is a burner.
He could be.
He's got size. So
I'm
against that.
So gross.
So gross, isn't it?
So Dome Patrol. So Samuels, Pat Swilling, Ricky Jackson, and Vaughn Johnson were the other 2 that I was forgetting.
Nice. Rebecca Grant says, I'll take the win, but the spread should not be okay with anyone.
Yeah.
Charlie B goes, my thoughts. He said, the Bills won. This team or its leadership lacks the wherewithal to defeat and demoralize an opponent. It's like McDermott wants the opponent to feel like they've had a chance all the way to the end. You can't win championships like that. I mean, it's funny because they've been winning games against good teams like that, but it does feel like they played down to their opponent and they're not really the Bills are a better. But then again, the Bills beat the Panthers that way, so they can beat bad teams that way. It's just not consistent.
Just like the 90s, same thing. It really was. It was the same thing in the 90s. They would play to their opponent, and I think it's indicative of a whole any given Sunday thing. Like every team is good. Even the Titans are good.
Yep.
Like there's only 32 teams, so everybody's good.
Yeah.
Everybody has a shot at it every given Sunday. Sometimes you lose it. Like you can't explain it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not complete logic. Like it doesn't make this guy beat that guy, so we should beat that guy. It's not quite that way. The Buffalo Buckeye says McDermott should be in the coach of the year conversation. Miracle this team has 11 wins with how limited they are on defense with personnel and how limited they are on offense with their CFL caliber wide receivers. Nobody circles a practice squad like the Buffalo Bills. And dude, that is incredible tweeting by the Buffalo Buckeye. John, so recently, I know you're a big Greg Cosell fan. Love Greg Cosell.
Yeah.
He mentioned that Shakir is their best wide receiver, and he's a number 3 on a good team. And it's kind of like what the Buffalo Buckeye is saying. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's that bad, or do you think he's a little bit he's exaggerating a little bit?
No, I agree 100%.
Dude, this is the amount of the lack of talent that Josh Allen has around him. It's almost like you couldn't do this poorly of a job as a GM unless you were trying to, like this is.
I would have done even worse. Like when we were talking about James Cook in the offseason about like extending a contract and this and like, oh, running backs are a dime a dozen and it'll be fine. They can just plug in any other running back, Ray Davis, whatever, Ty Johnson. James Cook has been phenomenal. He's outplaying his contract that they gave him to begin with. I was dead wrong about that. If they didn't have James Cook this year, they'd be effed.
They'd be toast. They'd be toast if they didn't have James. And I'm with you, man. Like I will not criticize you whatsoever for that take because I was right there with you this offseason. Like, yeah, let him sit or whatever. If he had sat, this 11-14 would be what 7-7 maybe without James Cook. I don't even know if they'd be that good.
He's probably gonna get the rushing.
Does he have the rushing title right now? As of today,
for this year?
Did he take it from the Colt or from Taylor?
I did see that he's already number 3 all time for single season for Bills rushing, and the only 2 ahead of him are both OJ.
Oh wow!
So the OJ's 2,000 yard season and OJ's 18-yard season are the only 2 that are above Cook.
I'm curious though, because it stinks that Thurman's not on that list. But if James Cook beats Thurman Thomas's record in 16 games, then I'll be impressed by that. You know what I mean? Or
Thurman also
in 14 games,
had a lot of receiving yards too. So Thurman led the league 4 years in a row yards from scrimmage, which is a record that hasn't been broken. So that's impressive too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole different story because he had the receiving yards on top of it.
For sure. I know that there was you mentioned the drop by Cook earlier in the game. I still think they need to utilize him and find a way to utilize him and Ty Johnson, and maybe even Ray Davis more in the passing game, whether it's a screen pass or just passes out of the flat. Like these guys need to be getting all together as a group, like 4 or 5 receptions a game easily.
Yeah, I think the running backs and tight ends combined, just keep going to those. I mean, even Jackson Hawes, like all those guys, they need to be involved more often than they are and stop forcing it to the receivers and screw the receivers. Honestly,
yeah, dude. Is it? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They need to run like 3 tight end sets and like 2 running back sets and no wide
Or
receivers.
and do a little bit more of that like trickery like the Browns were doing. Like end arounds or
Yes.
reverses maybe, or hand off to the tight end for the rushing touchdown. Like things like that. Like why not incorporate that? Forget the receivers. Maybe the receivers will be a nice novelty thing after the fact. But if your strengths are with your running backs and tight ends, get them more involved.
Yeah, you know what I'd like to see, John, just like in that same vein is why wouldn't you put like James Cook and Ty Johnson in the backfield and like shotgun? And then all of a sudden one of those 2 guys runs out to the right or left and lines up at wide receiver. Like there's creativity I think that you can do with the lineup that you have. Like all of a sudden, you're lined up at 3 tight ends and only Tyrell Shavers is out there. And all of a sudden, Dalton Kincaid goes out wide. Like I think that there's more. It's not necessarily just motion, but just changes in looks. So you're not sure who's going to get the ball. Maybe James Cook goes out wide. I think they have to really, really lean on that, like you said, and then just, fill in the gaps with Shavers, Shakir, and Palmer, basically, and Gabe Davis, right? Like the days of running 4 wide receiver sets should be over. Like you should never want to run a 4 wide receiver set ever because you don't have 4 wide receivers that are useful. And every wide receiver that you're putting on the field, you're taking off a Dalton Kincaid, you're taking off a Dawson Knox or a Jackson Hawes, or you're taking off a Ty Johnson or a James Cook. Like you can't do it. So like if I'm Joe Brady, I'm running 1 running back, 2 running back sets. I'm running 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets, and then just 1 maybe 2 wide receivers at most on any given play. Maybe 3 at most. Never 4, never 5 wide receivers ever. Until like they can start proving that Cooks can catch the ball or anyone else can step up in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's very worrisome that we're complaining so much about the offense when the defense is probably the bigger problem playoff wise.
Playoff wise, true. But it's also disturbing that what are we in week 15? We just had week 15. 2 more games left in the season. The Bills haven't figured out their starting wide receiver core. And that's exactly what AJ Tharp had said earlier. It's like we still haven't figured out, who the best,
We don't have any receivers. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Also a problem. A couple of last hot takes. Hurdle This says Joe Brady is a grade A+ clusterfuck of an OC and should have been fired weeks ago. Dude, I still don't know where I stand on this. I know Joe Brady isn't the best offensive coordinator, but at the same time, you can only do what you can do with what you have, right?
Yeah, they don't have receivers, and then like when players are dropping balls and
you can only put lipstick on a pig, right? It's still pig. That's
yeah, I like that one.
Bills Mania says, lucky to be an 11-win team. Poor tackling, receivers, terrible. We got to be better. We can't waste the prime of Josh Allen. Buddy, if you're talking about this season, like we're wasting that time already.
That's what's the most worrisome thing. Like we have all these problems on defense, all these problems at wide receiver, and Chiefs are out of the playoffs. The Ravens are on the verge of maybe not making the playoffs.
This might be the best year.
But yeah, we still might not win the division either. Like that's like all these things, and
John. So take the team that the Bills are at right at the. We'll end on this, okay? By the way, thank you guys all for sharing your thoughts on Twitter and everything like that for this episode. Just in general, saving all your topics and comments and stuff like that. John, this team that we have currently right now, offense and defense, everything. Imagine that they go into the playoffs right now as is versus the 2024 Bills as they went into the playoffs last season as the second seed, right? They didn't win the first seed. Are you confident more in this team from 2025 or in last year's team in 2024?
I think it's this. I have the same confidence. I think it's the same for me. Last year was supposed to be like a regression and like semi rebuild, right? And they, did the same thing that they usually did, and this year kind of felt very similar to that. I think it's the same to me.
So I felt more confident last season. I thought Josh was just playing better as a whole, right? Like I just felt more confident in his play last season, and maybe it was because of Mac Hollins. Maybe Amari Cooper had a little bit of a part of that, but I just felt more confident in the receiving core, even though it's basically the same as last season. Isn't that weird that I don't know. And I think even Dalton Kincaid has taken a step up this season, but he's been injured. James Cook is playing better, so maybe that makes up for the wide receivers. I just felt more confident last season than I do this season.
I mean, they get Joey Bosa now. He's still there. Rousseau,
He's definitely an upgrade over Von Miller last season.
Yeah, I mean, if you're hurt, you're hurt. I just think it feels the same to me.
Good. Well, good. That makes me feel better because I don't feel the same. So,
I mean, 2021 was the best. That should have been the year. I don't think it compares to that yet. Or we're still.
Was that the one lost in Kansas City that we won't speak of?
13. Yeah.
It's like Voldemort, man. You can't just say it.
I didn't finish it, but yeah, that was the year, but yeah.
We won't talk about. They were healthy that year too. Speaking of health,
that was the most healthy they had been. Yeah,
it's one thing talent-wise. It's another thing when your team can't even stay healthy. That's another thing you got to worry about. So yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I think the Bills were actually a little bit healthier last season going into the playoffs too. But then again, I feel better about the safety duo of Cole Bishop and Jordan Poyer, which is sad, than I did about Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin.
I never felt good about Hamlin starting.
I feel better about Benford, Tre'Davious White, and Max Hairston than I did about Benford and Kyer Elam. I mean, it was a rough go of it last season. So, it was Rasul Douglas. No, I liked Rasul. Okay, that might be a trade-off. Might be an equal. Yeah, but you mentioned, Joey Bosa's playing better this season. The pass rush actually has a little bit of life. Imagine if Michael Hoyt was here, John. Michael Hoyt and Ed Oliver, if they were both playing on this defensive line, how much better would you feel?
I'd feel way better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have Josh Allen. How crazy is it? Like, I don't think I think we take it for granted. Like, with all the problems the Bills have sometimes, that they have not just like a legit quarterback, but like the best quarterback in the league. How crazy is that? Like, even when Kelly was playing, right? Like, Montana was in the league, and like Marino Elway, like there's like Steve Young, like all these other quarterbacks that were like super. Like, I get there's Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, but it's not like. I feel like it's not the same. I feel like Allen is the best. Back then, it's like, well, Kelly probably wasn't the best, but he was up there, right? Obviously, he's in the Hall of Fame. But they have the best player in football on the Bills.
Yeah, and he might not win MVP this season, which is crazy because, imagine if you gave him Puka Nacua as your wide receiver
Could you
one.
imagine if they had a receiver like anybody?
No.
It wouldn't even have to be Puka. It could be like I don't know, like name a receiver that's halfway decent.
That could still be like a game changer though for the Bills. Well, I mean, we talked about Jalen Waddle. I mean, he's probably a top 20 wide receiver, right? So
Nico Collins or like really anybody.
yeah, I mean, even looking in our own division,
like a Drake London or
Drake London, Garrett Wilson.
Maybe Garrett Wilson they could get if they were gonna retool and he's gonna be unhappy being in the, I don't know.
You mentioned Nico Collins, that's a good one. I mean, Malik Neighbors. I mean, there's so many, a healthy one at least, all these receivers that, would make a big difference on the Bills. The Bills just, I mean, they're not trying to draft him though either. I mean, they did draft Keon Coleman a couple of seasons ago, but Khalil Shakir is the best we got, and we love Khalil Shakir. I mean, he's a great compliment when you have another good wide receiver on the other side, right?
Yeah. You need more. You need a true alpha receiver.
Private Joker 2003 says our offense has been pretty damn good the last 2 years. I think the main issue is that our defense is a lot worse because of injuries. Listen, he's right. I shouldn't crap all over the offense. Like, there's still a good offense, even though it wasn't a great game by Josh Allen today. He's still, like you said, the best player in football. And I think that we're so lucky to have him, like you mentioned, like in the 90s and even part of the 80s, I guess. Jim Kelly was, Joe Montana, you mentioned John Elway, all those guys, Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham. Like, there were some. Eventually, Brett Favre was in there. At the tail end of Jim Kelly. Like, he played with some great quarterbacks, but he was never the best. I feel like in the NFL, like he was always maybe top 5, but there was never a season where you're just like, dude, Jim Kelly is the best quarterback by far. Like, there's never been a season like that. Like, he was always in the conversation of being one of the best. But I think in this year, like you could say, Josh Allen is potentially the best quarterback in football. So we might have the best player.
Just kind of a tangent, but like one of the biggest gripes I have is when they compare these quarterbacks to like, oh, Manning can't beat Brady or Allen can't beat Mahomes and this and that. And it's like they're not playing against the other quarterback; they're playing against the other defense. So Allen can't beat the Chiefs' defense is the issue, or Manning can't beat the Patriots' defense. That's the talking point. It's not like you're not playing against the other quarterback.
Exactly.
It's always like a weird thing in my head. Like they always say those things, quarterbacks versus quarterbacks, but they're not playing each other. They're playing the other defense.
Yeah, exactly. Like Peyton Manning never took another snap against Tom Brady ever. Like they just
it's like, oh, Brady beat Manning again. Like no. Their defense beat Manning again. Like that's the way that goes. And Brady beat the Colts defense.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of those two things.
Brady was better at being the Colts defense than Peyton was at beating the Patriots defense, right? Like that's,
and there's a sliver of special teams in there sometimes.
Sliver of special teams. Exactly. Another great tweet by Private Joker 2003. He says, as time goes on and we see more Mahomes without elite weapons, the more it seems like Allen is actually a better player. I mean, like how much does that put it in perspective? What he said as far as like Josh Allen playing at such a high level. And you could argue he has worse weapons than Patrick Mahomes does, right? Josh Allen never had a Hall of Fame tight end. Josh Allen never had a potential Hall of Fame wide receiver like Tyreek Hill ever. And then he never had the elite defense that Patrick Mahomes had, and Patrick Mahomes' last Super Bowl win, maybe even going into last season when they went to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs had an elite defense, like Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, like they had amazing players, and they were one of the best defensive teams in the NFL, right? Josh Allen has never benefited from any of those things I just mentioned. Best weapons, best any Hall of Fame players, potentially Stephon Diggs, though, but just for a short period of time. But you saw how well he did with that.
It is a little concerning because the Bills traditionally, even in the drought, had some decent defenses. And you got McDermott, who's defensive minded, and it's been a while since I know they had to players got older, they had to retool and stuff, but it's still not to the standard.
No, and you know what I think about that is that a lot of that goes back to the players that they've acquired or drafted as part of the reason. Like, how many times does a player leave Buffalo and you're just like, oh, he's doing so much better than he did with the Bills? Like, he's obviously a really good player. Like when you draft Kaiir Elam and he can't stay in the NFL as a first round pick, like that's not on Sean McDermott necessarily. Like, he did as good as he could apparently with him.
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't know. I
know where you're going with it.
I mean, but we don't have
a great Brandon Beane. I mean, he's had some good mid to late round picks too. Like Dan Walker had a good game today.
He did. Private Joker 2003 said Poona Ford is doing very well with the Rams.
Yeah.
He was brought in. Why didn't the Bills utilize him?
Yeah.
They could have used him. Do you ever see that the Bills will bring a guy in and then just never use him? And you're just like, oh, well, he must not have been good enough, or they would have used him. And then, like you said, like Private Joker said, Poona Ford doing just fine. After the Buffalo Bills, Tim Settle had some sacks on the Buffalo Bills. What was he? Is he with the Texans now? He looked good against the Bills. Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe they need to change schematically or something. I don't know. But when Sean McDermott does call the plays when he is the defensive coordinator, I feel like this defense looks good. So I'm okay if he wants to take over the reins during the playoffs, if he needs to. Like, ego aside, if Babbich's ego aside, man, if you need to start calling plays for the defense so that we keep going, that's what you got to do, man. So thank you guys all for chiming in, being in the comments, being a part of the podcast. Let's hold on. I am going to do a giveaway here. I didn't do one last week. We didn't record one last week. I didn't actually watch the game, unfortunately. I was at an event where I saw the first half of the game, and then I was going to listen to the game at the event, and I was just like, they're losing 14-0 or whatever it was, 21-0. I'm not missing anything. And then I saw a dad at this event. It was just like, oh, man. I was like, oh, how many are they losing by now? He's like, oh, they're losing by 3 points, but they're about to score. I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy.
You have no faith. No faith.
It's not that I didn't have faith. I just didn't want to miss the event I was at. So that's on me, as always. But we're going to do 2 giveaways this week. So we have a Don Beebe jersey. We have Andre Reed signed football. And we have a Taron Johnson signed jersey. So we have two things to give away right before the holidays. Happy holidays to everyone listening, by the way. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And we're going to give away. So here, let me share my screen so everyone can see this. I feel like I'm at work. Here, let me just share my screen here. All right, can everyone see it? All right, great. First winner, by the way, if you're not sure how you can win these items, first thing you could do is to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. There, just leave your handle, and we'll get that. We'll put you in the listing for potential winners, or leave us a 5-star review on Spotify, which if you do that, you can just screenshot it to me and DM it to me or email it to me so I can see it. Or, leave some comments like so many of you have done over Twitter, Facebook during the game, so I can get you in there. because I know that you're paying attention or you're listening, and we'll go from there. So the first winner is AJ Tharp. AJ Tharp with the hot takes each and every week. AJ, congratulations. You can pick one of the 3 items I mentioned. And the first one to get to me, by the way, gets first pick. So then I'm going to pick another one, and we have Dylan Sabo. Dylan Sabo, the other winner. So AJ and Dylan, congratulations. Message me, and we'll go from there. Hopefully you guys can enjoy the holidays. Everyone out there. Mookie Hawkins is in, man. Mookie, what's up? Yeah. So, John, any final thoughts before we end this one?
Go Bills.
Yeah. And for me, Nate, go Bills. Bills, the AFC East is very much alive. Hoping that the Bills can put a complete game together this next week. And the Bills end strong. For me, Nate, go Bills. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.